next little project I've got today, more dent removal. I've been looking at this dent on the sill for a little while, and it's been bothering me, so I thought it was going to be difficult to get it out. Well, it probably is going to be difficult to get it out, but what I noticed yesterday was when I was looking over the van that obviously someone's had a bit of a go at it at some point anyway and drilled some holes in the sill, and either used that to try and draw the metal out using screws or bolts or something, but I'm going to use it to get some levers underneath, hopefully. So as you can see, there's two holes that they've drilled in the sill, and I'm hoping if I can get one of those levers hooked in behind that I can pull that out. We'll see. So I've pulled most of the dent out. It's a bit more brutal than I want it to be, but at the end of the day it's really low on the van. I'm not going to get the whole dent out, but it looks a hell of a lot better than it did. I put a thin skim of filler on just that part. I think when it's rubbed down, I need to put a bit more on there yet, but when it's sort of rubbed down and painted in, it's going to show an awful lot less than how it did before. So the van's not going to be perfect. It is covered in little dings and dents, and I am getting them all out as good as I can, but just typical of everything I do, really. It's always done on a bit of a budget, so I don't want to pay people to do things that I can do, so yeah, we're getting there. I thought whilst I was at it with this dent in the sill, I might also tackle this rust at the back. Looks like surface rust from outside the paint, but we'll see what happens once we dig into it. I'm going to use a flat wheel on the grinder. I've got safety glasses on, always wear safety glasses. So I wouldn't have wanted to leave that any longer than I did. It's not gone through, it's not holed, it's just a bit of surface rust. So that's not too much of a disaster. So obviously if these were halfway up the door I'd be paying a lot more attention to them, but they're on the sills at the end of the day. As long as I've made them look 90% better, then that's good enough for me. And if I want to address them at a further time I will, because to be honest I'd quite like to put some stone chip guard on them so they match up with the rest of the sill. But at the moment that's loads better. It'll stop them getting worse, stop them rusting, and yeah, I'm happy with that. And then put a top coat on and a bit of lacquer, and hopefully they'll just disappear into the rest of the van. So today I am putting some tinted, some window tint on the glass of the minibus near the aeroplane. This window tint is 30%, which means it allows 30% of light through it. I'm hoping I've got enough. I've got 6 meters on the roll. I haven't allowed for any mistakes. It's one of the most stressful jobs I've ever done when I've done it before. So I'm hoping that it'll all go okay. I'm not going to fuss with it too much. I'm going to put it on and squeegee it off, and then once it's done, I'm going to leave it. I'm going to show you what I've learned. It's just started raining about window tinting. So you wet the window on the opposite side to the one you are tinting, you cut your film roughly to shape somewhere it's not windy. Just bear in mind it's windy now. So, okay, so I've got this roughly to the right shape. At the moment I've got the backing, the clear backing, that you take off against the window. So I'm going to get rid of as much of the water outside through that pane of glass as I can. Okay, so that is roughly now in the right position. So I'm going to use the blade on this window. I'm going to cut into the corners of the glass, following the contours of the rubber I've got there. Hopefully you can see this. And that will give me my window shape at the bottom. And as this is a van, I'm obviously very tall, and I'm short. I'm not short. Need steps. So, and then do the same with the top contours of the window. Okay, so we're inside the van now. Don't have to rush so much. I'm not getting wet, which is quite nice. So this is the bits that I have learnt. These are the bits that make life a lot easier. So take note. So at the moment the backing is still on this bit of tint. This is a bitch to get off, this backing. But what I've learnt is, if you stick it to the window like that, you are tinting. This is going to be difficult because I've got no corners left on this now. It's also going to be difficult because I'm blind and I need to put my glasses on. Everything's steamed up. Can't see. Oh god. Right, so what I've got to do is drag the corners of the edge of the clear, so you can see. So if I've got a corner, if I keep dragging the blade over this corner, eventually it'll start to pick up the edge. So once you've got it started, grab the corner. Whatever you do, don't let go. And just fold that back. That might seem like a faff, but trust me, that was quick. It can take me, it's been taking me 10 minutes to get the backing film off the window tint. That's a bloody nightmare. So this is the next thing I learned. Okay, this is ridiculous because now this is stuck to the window like this. You've got a perfect platform to remove the backing film without anyone else holding it. So if you wet the surface you're going to put your fingers all over and then you don't get fingerprints, you can then peel the backing film off the tint whilst it's sticking to the window. It doesn't get covered in lint or bits, and then you can soak it through to your heart's content and get it all wet like that. And then if you want, you can move that to another bit of glass or something similar. Whilst you soak the window that you're tinting. Right. Again, take note. I have absolutely soaked that window. This is wet, this is wet. If they're not both absolutely soaking wet, you will have a world of pain, because what happens is this will immediately stick to that. You'll get air bubbles in there that you can't get out. I've watched loads of videos, people, they gloss over that. That is really important. It won't work. You won't get the bubbles out of this film unless this is soaking wet and this is soaking wet. So this is reversed now. This is my sticky side. You see? That is my sticky side. So I need to grab that by the corners, just like that, and it's wet. Don't let the sticky surfaces touch each other, because that will ruin this bit of film. Right, once it's on the glass, now, in theory, you can't really go wrong, because this is a nice small bit of window. Okay, so I can move this around, okay, and get it positioned roughly where I want it. And I know I've left gaps, there are little gaps either side, but again, I find it a lot easier to do that and just have a very slight gap either side of the window than to fight with it afterwards. Okay, once you've got it positioned like that where you want it on the bit of glass, go up a bit more. Then you can squeegee out your water. I use this big wide squeegee. Get all the water out of the panel, out of the film, to the edges. Don't crease it like I've just done. And there you go, so that's the window from the outside, and if you look, if you can see, no bubbles at all. So I'm not a proud man and I'm not embarrassed to show you. So that is the last one I've just done, okay, with the things I've learnt. These are the other ones I did. So this is after I learnt what I was supposed to be doing. You can see there's no bubbles, and I'm really, really chuffed with those. Okay, look at this blooming mess. If you can see, can you see? Let's see if I can actually show you. Yeah, you can see that. So I'm not professional. This is all amateur of someone learning, you know, as they go along, how to do these things, and anyone be the same. But I'm hoping by showing you what my mistakes are, and this is purely because I didn't put enough water on, okay, but with all the things I've learned, that's made life so much easier. Just to keep you abreast of what I'm doing, I'm removing the seats. Some of these have been an absolute bloody nightmare to get out. The bolts are, I don't know if they've been Loctited in, but they just won't come out. So I've had to cut some of the bolts out, and it's always the toughest ones to get to that won't come undone. The other problem I have is obviously, I'll show you. Obviously, the bolts heads are at the top of the van, and the nuts are underneath the van. So what I've come up with is this ingenious solution. Having a spanner like that actually stops the top of the bolt spinning, because it jams against the leg of the bed. But I was discovering, obviously it was taking me quite a long time, because every single bolt I had to take out, I had to come back up and remove the spanner. So this has actually replaced my daughter, who was supposed to be helping me. No, she wasn't supposed to be, but I did ask for her help. She wasn't very happy. So this has replaced my daughter. Bless her. You can see by the floor, which I've cleaned and cleaned and cleaned, and also around the wheel arch, how much crap is actually left on the floor. So once I get the seats out, I can give the floor a really good clean, and yeah, it's starting to feel a bit better in here now. It's actually starting to feel a bit more spacious in here now. Just makes me realise how big it is in here, and I'm really pleased about that. That's really good. So get this row of seats out of the front. This row of seats here are an absolute pain in the bum. These ones here have gone through the cross member of the van. And where there's an inspection hole in there, you can actually get to it, but obviously again doing it on your own, it's bloody difficult. So I've got the same to do this side. Also here on the wheel arch there's a strap that goes through obviously underneath the wheel arch. That instead of being hex head bolts, they're Allen head bolts. Obviously, you know, it's seized underneath, and you know why you wouldn't use normal bolts there, I don't know. So on the other side I've had to cut these off with a slitting saw, which I don't really like doing. I don't like using them things. I think they're dangerous. I feel like they're going to break. Anyway, that's what I'm left with. So I'm quite pleased with that. Obviously lots of holes in the floor now, which are going to need siliconing up or something before I do anything. But they're all useful bolt holes to bolt bits of furniture to, like the beds and things. So I'm not doing anything with them yet. Just keep going, Marcus, keep going.